Hey trainers, Poke Dad here, and sadly I'm without my partner in crime, the Dancing Bear, at first base. So you just had to depend on me to get you through the long night. Real quick, this is brought to you by Ink Gaming, your answer to all your customizable gaming needs. Check them out. Try to leave a link in the description. Now here on Pokemon Deck Check, continuing on with Expanded Look, we have what believed to be probably the second best deck. It won the last expanded regional, Zoroark, and with the addition of Faba, I think it loses just a tiny bit. I think Trevenant is now 50-50 or maybe 55-45. But we've added some stuff to try to combat that, so let's take a look. 4-4 Zoroark. There's your draw engine. 3 Seismitoad, your control aspect of the deck. 3 Lele. We do play a lot of one of supporters, so Lele gets us out. 2 eggs, and I'll explain why 2 and not 1 here in a bit. 1 Sudowoodo, 1 Oranguru with resource management, and then a nice little Giratina tech for Greninja / Trevenant. We are expecting to see a rise in Greninja's play. It is in a very good spot going into this regional, believe it or not. We absolutely hate the deck. Not a fan of it. No love here for it, but it has to be accounted for because when you think about all the decks that could be played at this regional, Greninja is a fairly safe play as long as you don't lose to yourself. So 3 Toad, no need for the 4th. You got your Zoroark. Against Trevenant, I like to mixing it up against a little bit of item lock for early game until you can get your board set up with Zoroarks, and then you can just go in with Zoroark. Like I said, 3 Lele to help you get out of the item lock. It's real important. I wouldn't cut it down to 2. 3 is perfect. Sudowoodo, there is, if people have been testing Zoroark with the Giratina that comes out of the discard and onto your bench, then they're going to need to slow him down because it's a super aggressive deck that can take some big one-shots. So you need Woodo to help slow him down. The 2 Execute, you can actually chain Plumeras to discard an energy, and that's why we play the 2. You can just propagate and then Plumera them away and remove an energy on the field. So that's why we like the 2. So, and then resource management, get back. He's important because we don't play special charge. Mainly you're going to be getting back like Plumera, Lusamine, Acerola possibly, stuff like that. Or even a counter catcher. A lot of one-of techs that you can get back, but it's always nice to resource management the VS Seekers back in, then trade into them. So, very, very good. It's also excellent for the uptick we are predicting in mill decks, Sylveon, Wailord, Shocklock decks. Very, very important. So, not so much against Shocklock. We do have a really nice profile of that coming up. We have decided to share our list that we've been working on for quite a while. So we'll get that out here. We'll probably have that. I'll probably try to record it today and get it out by Monday at the latest, hopefully. So there's our Pokemon line. Nothing too extravagant. Just love the 2 eggs, seeing chain Plumeras. It's pretty mean, but we're here to win. Giratina would not cut that. Trevenant's going to be absolutely everywhere. You have to account for it. 4 Ultra Ball, 4 VS Seeker, 2 Battle Compressor, 2 Field Blower, 2 Fighting Fury Belt, 2 E-Hammer, 1 Rescue, 1 Counter Catcher, 1 Float, a Spective Choice Computer Search. I could see Dowsing Machine, but being able to just immediately grab the DCE and start playing it, I've always favored that rather than having a 5th VS Seeker or whatever have you. So much rather have computer search, honestly. I just like the consistency it brings to the table. I can grab any card that I need at that exact moment. So I don't feel like there's anything too weird. I mean, Battle Compressor to dump the 2 eggs along with supporters, especially if you have a VS Seeker in your hand. Very, very useful. Rescue Stretcher to get back maybe your Sudowoodo or your Giratina. E-Hammer. It's kind of... this is mainly for like Buzzwole with the strong energies and stuff. You're not going to be removing Trevenant's energy more than likely unless you Lysander and then E-Hammer. You can do some pretty sweet plays like that. So, something to think about. Fighting Fury Belt, you're going to slap that on Toad. Beef him up a little bit. So, that's the items. I don't feel like there's nothing too crazy. You could possibly cut the second Fill Blower. And you could possibly cut the enhanced hammers all together. If you'd like. That's definitely an option. Supporters. Lots and lots of 1-ofs except for Lusamine. Gotta have 2 so you can chain them. 1 Juniper, 1 N, 1 Colress. There's your draw right there. 3. 1 Bridget for setup. Acerola for healing. Heal that Toad. Put him back down. Guzma Lysander. Very important to get out of the Trevenant lock. Super, super useful. Pokemon Fan Club. It's really nice. Especially to grab Lele. And put it in your hand. Then grab some of these other supporters for later. The Plumera that we already talked about, discard 2 of the eggs. You can chain that in conjunction with Lusamine or Resource Management. Get it back. Handiwork. If you run them out of resources, run them out of energy and stuff, with this next card, Faba, then you just go in hard with Handiwork. Mill them out a little bit faster. Team Skullgrunt. So you can try to catch them with their pants down. Maybe they're holding on to energy. They don't want it E-hammered or they don't want it fobbed off. And you can just hit them hard like that. Gladion, just in case one of these is prized. Mainly your Faba. You don't want your Faba and Plumera prized. Or your Acerola, really, or these. So 1 Gladion, just because, I mean, you may not be taking prizes. You may just go for the more control, just allowing your opponent to do what you want. And in that type of gameplay, more than likely you're going to mill them out. So you might not be taking any prizes. So there's the supporters. Lots and lots of 1-ofs. That's why it's important to have the battle compressors so you can compress them away, use the VS Seeker to get exactly the supporter you want. And the 3 Lele. That's why we played 3. 2 different stadiums for 2 different matchups. Trevenant matchup or even the Greninja matchup. It could help against them if they're sniping the bench and stuff. You can kind of heal that up on your Toads. But mainly for Trevenant. And then Parallel City, it's good with Woodo if Woodo's prized or Parallel City's prized. And you can just keep chaining these and it's tough for Zoroark to recover. However, with the new Giratina, it's actually fairly easy for them to recover now. Because we've been playing in our Zoroark Tina deck, we've been playing a couple eggs and 2 to 3 Tinas. So that's 5 plus whatever Zoroarks. So if they go down to 3 and then you discard those 5, they get their Skyfield, they can put those 5 back into play. And then, of course, you can Lusamine that back in and hurt them again, but then that forces them to find another Skyfield. And if you have them in item lock, then that could be kind of tough. So, and then for energy, 4 DCE. This is risky with Faba, but the only decks we found that really take advantage of Faba is Trevenant decks and the this style deck and possibly like mill decks. So 4's fine against the field. Against the rest of the field or in those matchups, 4 is going to do the trick. But you have to just kind of don't put down more than 1 if you're against like Trevenant or a mirror match. So, but that's when they can hit you with a flare or the Team Skullgrunt of their own. So that's it. That's our list that we've been working with. It's solid. It's good. Trevenant is going to be your most difficult matchup other than maybe a mirror match. So keep that in mind. That's why we have the text that we do, is to combat the mirror match and Trevenant. So hope you enjoyed, and till next time, stay excellent to each other and party on, dudes.